Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time, otherwise known as the nectar of the gods. That's right. Here we are on a Saturday morning. Hopefully, everybody's doing somewhat decent. Um, I would say I think I am. Kiddo is sick in the house here, but hopefully he'll be fine. And we've got little man here. Little man's in the house, but he's half out of it. Toby Toe Beans is here. We've got ourselves a just about complete lineup of everything to boot. Yeah, I know, little guy. I know how it takes me at least half an hour for me to be functional before I could even make this. This is the important stuff right here. Hi. You gonna come up here or are you just teasing me like you always do? Hmm? What? 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 I know. You are very difficult to get hold of, literally and figuratively. Look at this little diva. Hmm? No? Yeah. She's like, I'm not looking. I can do the same. I can do the same thing. See, I'm not looking at you. No, maybe, possibly. All right, go torture your brother. Anyways, so hopefully everybody had themselves a great Thanksgiving. Mine was pretty decent, I gotta say. I think let's see, where was I? I went to two different places. Went to the the GF, and went to my bestie's house down at Joe Cat Lady. Had a good time, mostly in both places. I mean, I had a great time there. I mean, in between it was something else. In between the trips, but that's okay, you know. And like I said, good morning and wake up to you. You know, how about yes, thank you. Hi, Fred. Good morning. And nothing says good morning. Oh boy, here we go already. Nothing says good morning and starting out with a really good cereal. I'm kidding here, kids. I'm kidding.
Nice to meet you, King Vitamin.
Nice to meet you.
My sister likes you so well.
How about you?
Never tried it.
King Vitamin, have breakfast with the king. King Vitamin, have breakfast with the king. Get a sweet corn cake and all the vitamins you need.
You have breakfast with the king. Get King Vitamin cereal.
Have breakfast with the king.
I did it.
That's right, he did it. He had breakfast with the king. Anybody ever had King Vitamin? I mean, I know it was around like in the 80s and 90s, but I was always told that was a crappy cereal. I'm just saying. This might be a little bit more our speed, huh?
You're not the only one who's scrambling.
You're the one.
Scramble, scramble,
It's another working day.
flippin', floppin'.
Really hopping up and down your way.
Breakfast is ready.
Sizzle, sizzle.
Oh, you really set the pace. Scramble to McDonald's. It's your weekday breakfast place.
While you're scrambling, we're scrambling at McDonald's to serve you fast. So you can slow down and enjoy a good hot breakfast of fresh scrambled
Well, he was in
eggs
a
and
lot
pure
of
pork
things in the
sausage
60s and
crispy
70s.
golden hash browns. Or relax with a stack of hot cakes
Ronnie
and sausage.
Shell? Am I
Or
right?
a
Is that
special
Ronnie
egg
Shell?
McMuffin.
Hope I'm
Before
pronouncing
you're
that
off
right.
and scrambling again.
Scramble, scramble, scramble.
You really set the pace.
Or does he look just like him?
Scramble to
I don't know.
McDonald's. It's your weekday breakfast place.
At McDonald's, we do it all for you.
That's right. Back when McDonald's breakfasts were basic and probably a hell of a lot more decent. Not knocking on today's McDonald's breakfast exactly. You still like the steak bagels over there? Probably. Yeah, he's kind of got a little bit here, so we'll do the best we can with what we got. This is, like I said, usually these Saturday morning shows are about an hour or less. But like I said, we got a couple advertisements. I want to bring up before I get into the meat and potatoes of things, or in this case, the bacon and eggs. Um, if you can, go to the Wax Museum with RonnieDark.com. They met their goal. They over they overextended the goal. They managed to get the 5Gs, which I'm really proud of. The extra funds that are going over the top now, and they've got about 25 days to do it, will go towards better studio equipment. So, more power to them. I had the pleasure of being able to throw something their way because I believe in them, just like I believe in this show and I believe in you guys for a good cause. And what's that cause? Just to be here, damn it. That's the good cause. That's what I feel about it anyway. Um, Scott, good to see you. It's been a good morning, your mightiness. Yeah, I was wearing that shirt the other day, actually. Again, McGriddles. Yeah, oh, I like McGriddles. Don't get me wrong. I had a sausage McGriddle yesterday, kiddo treated. So that was kind of nice. I haven't had one of those in forever. Tasty, tasty, yum, yum. Because usually what I do, because everybody's budget conscious. I am too. Trust me, everybody has to be. But usually I get like the sausage biscuit and maybe a hash brown. I have to be in the mood to have those hash browns because they're not as good as they used to be sometimes. Unless maybe if they're freshly made, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, so Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark. Please go check out that website and if you can, even $1, donate $1 towards them. Over here, please smash the like button. Always check your subscriptions. We did get a couple more subscribers in the last week. I'm very pleased with that. Of course, it hasn't hit the system yet who they are, but I'm very grateful for that as well. And of course, I'm always very grateful for, well, whenever anybody feels like donating. This is not a requirement, of course, not to play with this show here, but cheap coffee, cheap records, and to help offset the StreamYard fee, which, by the way, cheap records we're going to get into. We got some today to show you briefly. The other little advertisement before we get into the rest of this is that it's either going to be tomorrow or Monday. We are going to roll out the new 4-episode sub-series. That'll be one a week to Christmas week. And it's a new series called Aw Crap, another Christmas album. This will be the first one that we're going to be going at. This is from 1962, the Everly Brothers with the Boys Town Choir. Yeah, that Boys Town, the one, like from the movies, Omaha, Nebraska Boys Town. I wonder if somebody, speaking of Omaha, I wonder if somebody was a choir kid, like their relative was a kid choir in this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying either. Have you seen the Mick Jagger icon? Oh my God. I think I might have, to be honest with you, because that does sound familiar. Yeah, the Mick Jagger. I don't know. That was the shittiest Mick Jagger impression I could have come up with. Go into a go-go. Okay. So, the elephant in the room. It was record store day. It's record store day every day for Psycho and you people out there. I said you people. So, yeah, Mick is a clown. Yeah, he pretty much kind of is. I mean, the Stones are a hell of a band, but Mick is a clown. He has definitely had his ups and downs, especially that solo career. Oh my God. Why? Why, Mick? Why with the solo career? There is actually an album I am looking for Jukebox from Hell. I think it's Got Us in the Doorway. I had a chance to find that for like 50 cents, and I don't know what the hell happened. I went back and somebody else got, I don't know. They're shown here. I don't mess with anybody's comments. If you're not seeing your comments, I'm not sure why. Who the hell else told me that last week? Somebody said they didn't see their comments. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, listen, to tell you the guys the honest truth, I have very few people that are banned, and it's none of you guys. That's for sure. It's the regular suspects. It's not my regulars here, my regular people as opposed to my regular suspects. I think I've like got, because I went through the list, I think I got like total of 4 people banned. That's it, 4. Okay. Most of you guys are pretty good. Yes, yes, yes. Good morning, James. King Moon Racer. So I ended up they had some deals going yesterday at the vintage stock. That's where I went to, and I was up and at 'em. I was out by before 9 a.m. because I was trying to get a remote for what I thought for my DVD player that my son gave me. I finally got the remote for the DVD player. I started watching that Hitchcock box set. I watched Topaz last night. What a strange yet interesting movie, even if it is a little bit slow in my opinion. But needless to say, yep, get up, breakfast time, Nicholas. That's absolutely right. And like I said, Tokyo Brian, thank you for the card and the sticker. I did get that. I brought it up in the last show. It arrived this past Monday. Always grateful. So, needless to say, the first album. Now, all of this keys into the title of today: "Rock and Roll, Go Now to Destruction." So, this one here, um, I ended up getting this because, yes, we're here for the cartoons, sir. Um, yeah, I didn't get any. I didn't get any set up today. I'm still nervous after that stupid Casper one got me taken interrupted my stream. It's a public domain cartoon, YouTube. I looked at it and I researched it, you bastard. That bastard's YouTube, not you, Scott. I'm like, YouTube, you bastard. Anyways, this is my first album that I ever bought. Okay, when I was a kid. I didn't get this brand new. I got this almost brand new. Now, I know you guys are like, oh, not this again. Why the hell did you get this? Now, if you ever seen this, and most of you probably have, and it's still in nice shape, really, out of all honesty, considering it's over 50 years old. Let me read what it says. Of course, it says contains 30 original hits. This is the Dick Clark 20 Years of Rock and Roll on Buddha. Specially priced 2-record set collector's edition. Now, it said it came with an original 24-page souvenir yearbook with photos. Thing is, this one didn't have it, but I'm not worried about it, right? So, and I'll explain why. But of course, on Buddha, very nice shape these two discs. But what happened was, where is it? What the surprise for me? Come on, I saw you last night. There it is. Was this? None of the copies of I ever had this. Okay? None of them. That's why I got it. And look, nobody even bothered to put it on the spindle because the hole is part of his nose, you see? So nobody bothered to even play this thing. I appreciate that they stuck the bonus record in, but you see, I have another copy that has the booklet, but not that square record. So, kind of to celebrate a little bit, I thought. Typing bad words. Hello. I Yeah, definitely. This whole album turned me on to 50s and 60s music. I bought it in 1974. See, there you go. But get this though, even though it says it, not all the pressings got it either. I am told it was the first pressings got that square disc. Now, I don't know how entirely true that is, but I will say this. I've seen near mint copies that were opened and mint copies that were opened, excuse me, I can't talk today, that didn't have the record in it, so I don't know. So I thought I'd start out with a couple songs, basically, from this compilation. I think I made what? I put four, and we're going to play part of the Dick Clark interview on that record. So let's start out with Crying in the Chapel. Wonderful song from the Orioles in 53. Big congratulations. Randy, weren't you kicked off the bus for spitwads? Could have been. I could see Randy doing that. I could. I used to. Just kidding, Randy. Anyways, So we go from that one to another one that's on this from one of, in my opinion, one of the best. This was the only reason why I wanted to go to New Orleans, was to see this man play. And well, Katrina kind of put a squash to that, really, and then he passed away. Mr. Fat Stats, right, from 1957. Fats Dominoes, I'm Walking. That's right. But yeah, I mean, I'm told he would play twice a month. I think this was before Katrina. He played twice a month in the French Quarter in New Orleans, and that was the only reason why I wanted to go down there. I could care less about Mardi Gras and that other bullshit. He's a twisted man. Well, so am I. I'm sure that they're waking Johnny up. Oh, probably. Maybe I'm waking Johnny up. This next one, 1960. One of my favorite Brenda Lee songs. And no, I'm not talking about Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. That thing gets old. But it's this one, Sweet Nothings, 1960. You know, when I used to try whispering Sweet Nothings, I'd get slapped a couple times. I don't understand. High school, college, I meant well. It's not like I said anything totally dirty. Anyways, okay, I'll get back on the short bus, he says. It's Candy Clark. Hey, wait a minute. Wasn't Candy Clark a adult actress? I'm watching two Psycho streams at the same time. I don't know how, but that's fine with me, I guess. How strange. Two Psycho streams at once. All right, so listen, this next little bit. Remember the square record I just showed you about the Dick Clark interview that came with the original pressings of this? Courtesy of IRL 1966 channel, I found it. It's about 5 minutes. So let's hear Dick Clark for a few minutes. This is a 1973 interview that he did for this record.
Hi, this is Dick Clark. You know, I got to thinking there isn't any way I'm going to be able to ramble about the past 20 years of my life in and around rock and roll and get it done in any reasonable length of time. Too much has happened. I have so many great memories I'd like to share with you, but one of the things people ask me most frequently is who made their first appearance on television on one of the shows you produced? And I'd like to share some of those memories with you. Keep in mind that when American Bandstand started back in Philadelphia days in 1952, all the big stars came by. The Four Aces, Eddie Fisher, Georgia Gibbs, Patti Page, Don Cornell, Johnny Ray. Rock and roll? Well, Alan Freed hadn't broken that on the world yet. I remember Bill Haley and the Saddlemen. He later decided that the Comets was a little more appropriate. On another day, many years later, I had a request from these gentlemen to see if I could dredge up an old kinescope of their first American Bandstand television appearance. It was November of 1957, as I recall. They came to Philadelphia, complete with crew cuts and smiles and eager young faces to promote a record. Matter of fact, they had a different name in those days, Tom and Jerry. That was the first network television appearance of a couple of fellows named Simon and Garfunkel. Now, when we started the Saturday night Dick Clark show in New York, the network people thought it'd be a great idea if an older established star introduced a newcomer. So we got Johnny Ray to introduce a girl singer. Her father, as a matter of fact, picked her songs. He's the fellow who picked Who's Sorry Now because it was a favorite of his. Johnny Ray introduced her, Connie Francis. I once got a favor call from a famous talent manager. She said to me, could we please use this very bright, talented, shy young man? He wasn't a rock and roller, but she was sure he'd be a big star, and we booked him.
She was 1950.
And he came back many
1950
times.
something.
And he
just
was
fill in the
shy
blank.
and very talented. And he's still a giant. He made his first appearance on the bandstand.
Nice.
Johnny Mathis. Somebody else said to me, got a kid we found on a doorstep in Philadelphia. Wait till you see him. He
Literally.
looks like a cross between Elvis Presley and Ricky Nelson. We put him on television, and we developed a very special close-up shot to accentuate his sensuous good looks. We called it the Fabian shot.
Oh, Lord.
You know something? They're still taking Fabian shots of Donny Osmond and Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney and Alice Cooper. Now, this fella didn't really want to do our show, but his manager was and still is a very close personal friend of mine, and I asked him for a favor, and they came. And they made their first national television appearance on the Rock and Roll Dance Show. Jim Morrison and the Doors. Now, this young man was a Philadelphia trumpeter. His manager thought he'd sound a little more commercial if he held his nose as he recorded his first record. And he held his nose. and he knocked every teenage girl of the 50s for a loop with a thing called Dee Dee Dinah.
Is that
Frankie
right?
Avalon. Now, this cocky young fellow used to come to Philadelphia regularly. He hadn't had a hit yet. He did all the record hops, but he tried hard, and he hung in there, and he finally got a hit. And another hit, and another, and another, and another.
And another shit.
And then he came to me. We'd become pretty close personal friends by then. He said, "Going to switch styles, Dick. What do you think of this record?" And I listened to it, and I said, "Ooh, boy, that isn't what your fans expect. That isn't you. That record is never going to make it. Don't do it." Wonder how many times he's sung that song since that conversation. The song was called Mac the Knife. His name was Bobby Darin, of course. These four wonderful guys dragged all the way down from San Francisco to do Bandstand. They were extra busy, and so were we in those days, so we taped their guest appearance for future use, and somehow or other these things happened 2 days before the thing was to air. Coast to coast, the tape got erased. We'd already announced their appearance.
Oh, God.
We were in a jam. So we got them together again, and we taped another segment just in time for them to make their national television debut. John Fogerty and Creedence Clearwater.
Didn't know that.
Now, when these folks arrived in the studio, they scared everybody. You probably don't remember the first time they appeared on the bandstand. The Jefferson Airplane.
Oh.
I remember having an argument with a talent coordinator of a show we did called Where the Action Is. She didn't like to book this act. She didn't want to book them. She said, "They don't look like our kind of people. They're just not right. You shouldn't do it." And I said, "How about booking them anyway?" And
Yep.
she did. Thank goodness. The Mamas and Papas.
See, you may not
This man
like him,
came
but
to
at least
Los
he took some
Angeles with big,
chances.
shiny, mirrored glasses on. He'd never appeared on television before, and I must tell you the truth, I think he was nervous. He had a mystique about him. I remember that day he came by. That was Isaac Hayes. I saw these kids first at a reception given by a friend of mine who used to sing with a singing group. The friend told me they were great. And when they appeared on the American Bandstand for the first time, the audience went crazy. The friend's name was Diana Ross, and she was the first to ask us to present the Jackson 5. Hey, sometime when we have a little more time, I'd like to tell you about some of the other first appearances by people like old Bobby Rydell, Chubby Checker, Dionne Warwick, The Fifth Dimension, Bread, Loggins and Messina, Melanie, The Guess Who, Paul Revere and the Raiders, Fats Domino, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, David Cassidy, James Brown, Neil Diamond, many, many more. You know, we presented over 8,000 individual performances on American Bandstand alone, not to mention a dozen other shows in the past 20 years.
No, thank you.
And I guess the answer to who made their first appearance on one of your shows would be answered easier by listing the folks who haven't.
Yes, it's Randall.
The fact of the matter is there have been a lot of folks who've been with us, and it's always a pleasure.
Well, that was interesting. See, now I don't have to play my square record. Thanks, IRL 1966, for doing that. Anyways, on the last little Dick Clark 20-year bit, we'll got one song left on that part for the queue, and it's a classic. I love what's really funny about this song is that the FBI and all kinds of church groups and everything else were trying to pick apart this song for all hidden messages, rotten messages, nasty messages. You know, when they overlooked the one basic message that if you turn it up real loud on the radio and that drummer drops his drumstick and you hear him yell the F word, that's right. They missed that. Oh boy. 1963 Kingsman, Louie Louie. Same thing, Terry. Same thing in the 70s and 80s up until whenever both of those shows pretty much went off the air. Wasn't it like late 80s for Bandstand, and I'd say Soul Train wasn't too far behind? Maybe like in the early 90s? I could be wrong on that. So, the Dick Clark album, I got a slight deal, so it was like $4 instead of $5. Really. Yeah, I watched Soul Train True and the Soul Train Dancers. Some of them were funny. Living Color went off and made fun of that too. Like Old Train, they called it Old Train, where they got their walkers, and one of them's having a stroke. I don't know, whatever. That's not funny, but it is funny in a way. So then I finally find a copy of this. Yes, 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 because I've come across a lot of beat up copies of this thing over the years. The Moody Blues #1, otherwise known as Go Now. Now, I will confess, I know it may look a little ratty. It just needs cleaned, is what it needs. That's all. There's a lot of thumbprints and stuff, if you will. But this one here, July 1965, with your original lineup. Okay. So you've got Denny Lane and Clint Warwick are on this album. Of course, they would get replaced with Justin Hayward and John Lodge in 1966. Yes, Don Cornelius did have the big hair at one point, and Don Cornelius and I shared the same birthday, September 27th. Well, yeah, American Bandstand came out in like geez, what was it? 50, 55, 56 with Bob Horn before Dick Clark got a hold of it due to Bob Horn doing some things he shouldn't have done. Some say he was railroaded out. I don't know how true that is. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Speaking of that, I did decide to plunk down and get 4, but I only because it was on sale, and I also got an extra 10, so it came out to, like, with tax, 24. I don't think that was too bad. I'm listening to it right now. Well, not right now because I'm talking to you guys, but in the car I'm listening to it. I think I just got up to the point of nowhere, man. They brought back Bandstand with a different host and filmed it outdoors, so I didn't know that. Yeah, in 1957 they went national on ABC. That's what I heard anyway and read. So for the Moodies, I thought I would play 2 tracks off of this. One is the obvious ringer, but I thought I would play I'll Go Crazy. That's right. You gotta live wise words. It's true. When Dick Clark was doing Bandstand in Philadelphia, he had control of all the acts going to Wildwood, New Jersey to play. I could see that. The total control clause was probably very rare at the time. But he wielded a lot of influence in those days. All right. Here's the main hit off this. Everybody knows this. Even the oldies radio, which we don't have oldies radio down here anymore, but back when I had oldies radio, used to play this. Yes, they did. It was their first hit here in the U.S., that's for sure. Present to you, Go Now. Moody Blues' first hit in the United States anyway, Go Now. I always liked that song, I mean, obviously we like the Moodies for what they'd end up being, but if they didn't go in that direction, and find the Mellotron and all that other stuff, I don't really think that they would have gotten as successful. They probably would have been like a 1 or 2 OP, and that would have been the end of it, maybe. I could be wrong about that. Just my guess on the whole thing, anyway. Speaking of, though, the Moodies, this ties into another thing I talked about earlier about Christmas albums. So, unfortunately, the Moody Blues, the last studio album they ever did, was in 2003. They did an album called December. That was the last studio album that the Moody Blues ever did, of course, before they basically are no more, because just about it, they're dead, except for Justin, right? Yeah, I think Graham's dead too. So yeah, Justin Hayward's the only one left on that whole mess. But yeah, so Moody Blues, Hall and Oates was another one. Hall and Oates, the last album they made was a Christmas album, and they're toast, they're done. But I guess the legal battles are over, which is nice. I mean, maybe they can at least be amicable to each other now. Maybe, I don't know. And then REO Speedwagon is another one that the last album that they put out before breaking up was a Christmas album. But here's the thing. Are they getting back together again? There's a weird little post on Facebook that leads us to think that maybe REO Speedwagon may be back in 26. I don't know. I ain't going to hold my breath on it, but I'm going to tell you this. They haven't had a decent album, well, since what? 1984. But that doesn't mean they can't try. That's how I feel about it. So the last record that I found, and I got this solely because A, never heard of these guys before. B, I kind of dig the cover. So from May 1985, on Metal Blade Records, Infernal Overkill by Destruction. See, rock and roll was the Dick Clark. Go now, Moody Blues. Destruction is destruction. That's right. Here's the front. Here's the back. Still in the shrink wrap. It says Destruction, Infernal Overkill, Speed Metal from Destruction. New album on Metal Blade Records, with of course Enigma distributing it as well. That's what this looks like here. And then you got a one-pager. This band is a West German band in '85. So I present to you Invisible Force. I'd rather see Air Supply, huh? Yeah, well, I'd pay for it, but I'm all out of love. Oh, that's horrible. I don't give a shit. Check this out for a little bit, guys. If this don't wake you up, I don't know what will. Hey, bud. How are ya? Good to see you, Brandon. There you go. I like that. That is great. I like that. Yes, that's right. I met Linda Blair once briefly. Oh my. Hey, Seb. Hi, Chris. Yeah. If that don't wake you up, along with maybe a couple cups of this, Lord knows what will. Irresistible force from destruction's infernal overkill. Sure, I know how to say that. Say that 5 times fast when you're not having enough coffee and a breakfast sandwich. I don't know. In case anybody's wondering, yes, she did do that. She insulted all of us kids. But you know what? I ain't taking that lying down. No, sirree. The only thing I'm taking lying down at, well, grandkids here, I can't say. Anyways, doing good, league. In the background as I sleep. I don't blame you. It's 2 VC time and weather. It's 2 a.m. in Australia. Oh boy. So anyways, like I said, this was going to be an hour show or less than an hour show, and no offense, we are going to wrap this up. I do have to take care of some things to do today. I'm hoping to be on maybe either tomorrow or Monday. I'm not promising. Hopefully tomorrow or Monday. I'm also going to record that first new. Oh damn! It's crap. It's another Christmas album. I got a few of them lined up. Oh boy, you're all going to be sorry. Ho ho ho! It's evil Santa. He's got to. That's all he'd do. The evil Santa goes off and gives you Taylor Swift albums. Well, you know what? I can't. Well, that Karma song's still stuck in my head, but the rest of it to me is. By the way, I learned yesterday when I was at Barnes and Noble. I did not know Taylor Swift had a sweater line. I'm not kidding you. I did not know she had a knitted crochet sweater line. I will say this, at least, I mean, Gene Simmons, he knows how to market Kiss, right? Well, Taylor Swift knows how to market for those Swifties, I guess. Money, 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 money. No, I'm not working today, actually. I go back tomorrow, but I got a bunch of errands I have to do in the morning. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, guys, you know what? I love you. Even though I did have breakfast, I feel like having. Psycho's Platters is a Love Peace production.